All right, all right. Good morning, everyone. 6:20 a.m. here in Arizona. Happy Tuesday. Let's see what we've got today. All right, so we had this push yesterday, set all-time highs, new all-time highs, right? Current all-time high, 424. We flush right back down. During the overnight session and the Globex Open, we pushed even further, right? We had this huge drop at midnight, and we tested this 270 area, let's call it, down here where the new current overnight low is at. They attempted to touch previous day low, didn't quite get there, but we know this area is a bounce area, right? We know from yesterday we're looking at this 360, 370 area, the current overnight high. And from my trading, we remember this 405 area as initial support and resistance as well. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. Bulls are in control. Clear ascending channel playing out right here. You can see that. Top of that channel, bottom of that channel. So we are in an ascending channel right now. If we take a look at the 1 minute. Right here. So let's make a note of that. It is getting tighter and tighter and starting to taper. 10 minutes we got the open. Let's see what this looks like. Something like that. So again, this happened during the overnight. We touched this level, current overnight low of 270, and bounced right back up after this huge push from after we established overnight high yesterday. So I think that's where we're at yesterday from my trading. Remember, we were looking at this 405 level. That's going to be a support and resistance level. This level down here at 370, also major area of support right now. So we'll see if we get up to overnight high, which is around that 370 area, and figure out what it's going to do there. But we've got options. Just got to slow down today a little bit on the initial entries. Yesterday I got myself caught into some drawdown, unnecessary drawdown, with some of the quick entries right off the open, so I'm going to give it some time today. A little bit of coffee. Good morning to everyone. And let's see what we get today. Now, from yesterday, it's funny, as I'm turning the stream off, you guys remember I was short, got stopped out on two shorts, longed here, and came all the way to this stop, didn't close, and came back down here and got stopped out. I actually entered on another long right here with, I think like 2 or 3 contracts. I actually recovered right afterwards and closed up here for this long. So was able to recover the loss yesterday, but I think the learning lesson is these stop outs were a little too early, a little too quick. Slow it down a little bit for today. And I will be right back. Good morning to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. What do we got here? So a little pullback. We're still playing in that channel. So let's see what we do. We got the 200 SMA down here, potential touch. If the bulls are going to continue their rally, it's going to be tough to short. Or at least, if I am going to short, maybe some scalps. But bulls are in control. Bears had the chance to flush this down yesterday after this huge move to the downside, and we pushed right back up. Of course, we're basically repairing all of this weak structure, right? These were quick 3 or 4 1 minute candles. So now it's being properly repaired. Gamble Bonus World, welcome to the stream. Thanks for subscribing. For anybody new to the stream, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe button, and let's see if we can make some money today. 5 minutes, 6 minutes. 6 minutes for the open. As far as game plan, looking at what happens if we do touch this overnight high, we know from yesterday, this level right here, that, oh, there's the line from yesterday's trading, 405. That's a support and resistance level that played out back and forth during the morning session. Then obviously if they're going to flush it back down to test previous day low around this 260, 270 area, potential long there. So a little tricky. Tricky trading when you're at all-time highs. All right, 4 minutes. Casino opens in 4 minutes. In terms of news, do we have any interesting news today? Let's see. Not really. You know, Powell is or was speaking at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We got some earnings calls. Trump meeting with the Philippine president 8:15 a.m. Fed Bowman at 10 a.m. Arizona. So that's 1 o'clock. So it looks like most of it is after 11 a.m. where you have some minor news drops. So as far as the open's concerned, probably looking at a pop, an immediate pop to this area, testing that overnight high. And we'll see if we continue to pump. If they're just going to rally right off the gates 2 days in a row, we'll see. Pivot point 320 to the downside, to the upside, that 405 area from yesterday. All right, it's a little flush down going on right now, testing the bottom of that channel. Are we just going to pick it up from here and the bears flush it further? Let's find out. Three minutes for the casino. So let's see what we do up here at this 370, 375, 380 level. We had some back and forth there yesterday, both support and resistance. If 380, if it pushes to 380, we know about this 405 area. That was yesterday's back and forth on We dragged that one out yesterday for anybody tuned in. 405. There's a little bit of back and forth there. So that's an established level for sure. All right, 45 seconds. Casino opens in 45 seconds. Quick little pop to touch overnight high. And then let's see what happens after that. "15 seconds. Casino opens in 15 seconds. I'm going to try to take it slow today. I watched my entries yesterday. They're a little too on the fast side. So let's see if we can calm it down. Okay, Casino is now open. Let's wait and see how this plays out. Yusuf, good morning. Good morning, brother. All right, initial flush, probably a test of that 320 area. You got VWAP at 320, 200 SMA, pivot point, and then a potential bounce. All right, looking like similar to yesterday, a quick directional move. How low will she go? All right, there's that 310 area from last night. That was a battle zone from last night. Wow, once more. It's 50 points right at the open. Looking for that 300 break. So it basically flushed the entire work from the overnight session. The bulls stair-stepped it during the overnight, and the bears just took the elevator down. Nasty. All right, this was the bounce area from last night. Is it going to be, oh my God, the market's going to crash today? All right, this area held last night, 270, 280. That was the bounce area after this initial flush. So maybe testing, or attempted to test that overnight low. See if we get further downside from there. Gonna be a little patient on this. So that 280 level held. At least for now, we're seeing a bounce. Is this going to be a quick V recovery? Then at that point, we'll look at this area if they're going to continue to push up. Or if they want some downside, they have plenty of room to the downside still. Take a look at the 15-minute. They can still, this is weak structure, right? This was 3 or 4 candles to the upside. That was pretty weak. They still have room to push it down to 220 if they really want to clean this up. And then a potential bounce, or we'll have a red day. All right, let's see how that bounce at 280 plays out. That was a strong 5-minute candle to the downside. Right now I'm watching for any movements below this wick, below 280. We can come back and test and still bounce. I may hop on a long. So maybe what I'll try, see if it gives me this play, is attempt to enter down here with a tight stop below. Let's just mind. Something's wrong with my... Not even gonna mess with it. All right, looks like we're getting the bounce there. And slow down. So they're unable to push significantly below 300. 300 has been holding both in the overnight and yesterday. So let's see if they continue to pump this up. VWAP 317. Peter Chan, good morning, brother. Good morning to everyone. Slowed down pretty quick today. Two quick 1-minute candles to the downside and slow. All right, so let's see if we get a test of this area and hold. If we flush, then I'm going to wait for the next level. Like I said, I'm going to try to be really patient today and see where we can enter. Yesterday, I made a couple of mistakes rushing into some longs. Were they longs? Though shorts. And took some unnecessary drawdown. I ended up taking that bounce that happened later in the day or right after I closed, but totally unnecessary drawdown. So we're going to slow it down today. That doesn't mean anything. It could still go against me. All right, we're testing this area. Let's see if we get any touches below this wick. All right, that's definitely below. But it did wick. So let's see if we have a bounce here or further downside. Further downside would bring us down all the way down to the 220s. Looking for furthermore. It's another leg down. Go straight to funded. What up, brother? Wants more. All right, that's my alarm for 15-minute opening range in 2 minutes. How low will she go? It's testing that overnight low and the previous day low right now. About to test those levels. If we flush below that, then potentially looking at 200 next. See what happens at that 9 EMA. It's coming for more. Coming for more. So another leg down. Wow. I'm going to attempt a long at this level. And I'm only going to give it, there's no bounce here, then I got to clip it. It's the bottom of that channel. If it doesn't hold, I got to clip. Pivot point just got touched. If it flushes below this pivot point, I'm in trouble on this trade. The bottom of that descending channel, but it looks like it's going to break right through it. No bounce yet. So pivot point is at 222. Means I got to allow another 5 to 10 points of drawdown before I can clip this. There, here comes its pivot point touch. That would be my last hope for a bounce. If we flush below this, then I have to clip. All right, that's that pivot point touch right there, plus the 200 SMA on the 30-minute. If we're flushing below this, I gotta close. 30-minute 200 SMA not providing bounce. God damn it. All right, I gotta clip it. So we took some heat there. Let's see how far this goes and if there is any bounce to this today. I'll attempt another long at 180. But this is a sell-off day. Put myself in a bad situation. Damn, how low is this thing gonna go today? Yeah, 080 is the next level. That's been a level from last week. So I'll have to wait all the way down there or try to participate in this short. Huh. Wow. Wowzers. Just a sell-off. $70 points and wow, it's crazy. Wow. All right, we just hit the 120 pivot point. But I think at this point I'm hands off. That was some insane flush right there. You had the balls to long at 120 for that pivot point. Good for you. But it does have the potential for that 0.80 level from last week. See if we can play a bounce here then. With a potential test down here, I gotta allow the drawdown below this wick. Let's see if that pivot point 120 holds. Needs to push above the 9 and not get rejected. So far, every touch on the 9 has been rejected to the downside. See if it's a true bounce or just a dead cat bounce. We still may need to test this one more time, and I'll probably add. If we come back down here, I'll add. If it can't push above the 9 on this wave, then two things can happen. We continue to flush, or we just test this area and then slowly start building a base for the upside. But technically trying to long a falling knife right now, which is very risky. $120 is the pivot point. If they're going to flush below that, then you're looking at 0.80 as the next level. I don't think I'll take the drawdown all the way down there. I'll attempt the third and final long there. But like I said, I won't take the drawdown all the way down there. I'll have to clip it somewhere around here. Straight to funded, needs to bounce here. Yeah, but 0.80, the problem with this area is 0.80 is a stronger level from the past. It may be hunting for that level. I won't take the drawdown down there. I'll have to clip somewhere here. And then a final attempt down here for a long. But at that point, probably just trying to reduce the losses, not necessarily walk out in the green today. Yeah, that pivot point's not holding. Not giving you the juicy bounce that we're used to seeing at pivot points. Yeah, that pivot point's not providing the bounce. I'm in some trouble here. These directional days are getting me. 2 days in a row. Trying to counter trade the trend. Gonna have to figure out a way. Just FOMO in on these directional plays. Yeah, that pivot point's not doing me any justice on a bounce. Oh boy. Can't push above that 9. The 9 is being resistance right now. All right, let's see if it can push above the 20 SMA. 20 SMA providing resistance. Struggling. Still not able to position above that 9. It's going to be my kiss of death if we can't push above. All right, here we go. Let's see if we get a test of 220 now. See if we can get a test of 220. Looks like a weak bounce. Go straight to funded. All assets up, all 4. ESNQ, etc. All right, that would be good. But NQ struggling for this bounce. Not given the standard NQ bounce by any means. Dow Jones is up, S&P down, NASDAQ down, Russell down. All hovering around 0.5% down for the day. All right, so in terms of if we get this bounce, 220 is the pivot point. 220 is also where you have, well, 210 is where you have 200 SMA on the 30-minute. So we could see some resistance there. But we got to get there first. take a look at fibs on this, potential resistance areas. %50 would be that 234 area, if we can get there. And that's where you have pivot points at 225, 222. Right around here, right below at 50%. Still not out of the woods yet in terms of a bounce. It is a bounce. It's as slow as it can be. Vincent and Ella, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Struggling. It's struggling to bounce. Well, if you're new to the stream, do me a favor. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like, smash that subscribe. I live stream every day from Arizona, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. I also do late Asia session, 9:15 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. Today we're in a little bit of drawdown. Trying to see if we can break even for the day or minimize the loss a little bit. Playing this bounce, looking at 220 as potential target, but it's a weak bounce at best. Got to be upfront about that. Pushing. Attempting to push above 200. I'm going to set my initial TP at 235, but I got to watch 220 if we even get there. Where's my TP not working? Here we go, 235. Right underneath VWAP. But we may not even get there. Pivot point's at 220. So I'll have to watch what happens here at 220 if we get there. Carlos Reyes, happy to see you here, man. Welcome aboard. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the stream. Bulls are stair-stepping it. And that bounce is starting to fade. It's not good. Struggling to get back above 200. Got rejected right there. See if they can hold. Continue a push up. Or now we got further downside, potential retest of that pivot point at 23,100. Fading out. They make this quick directional move and then they just snail pace it. Ah, frustrating. You're frustrating. Painfully slow. Yeah, this bounce is not necessarily holding. Now we're in a painful grind. All right, looks like that bounce is looking for a test of this area. If we get flushed below this wick, I gotta close it. Actually, I'm gonna set a hard stop. Not messing with manual stops. That's the end of that. And probably have to call it a day. I'd be down pretty bad. I think right below my personal daily loss limit. And I'm not going to push it any further. I'm 2 days in a row, directional plays. I'm trying to counter trade the trend and getting punished. But we've known that. I've said it multiple times. My Achilles heel in trading are directional days, the easy days. Because I'm so used to counter trading, 95% of the days that you're trading, you're not going to have a clean day like this. It's something that I got to work on. It's the easy plays. They're the easy days that you just hop on a long or hop on a short on FOMO. that I do bad for whatever reason. Since 95 or probably as high as 98% of your days on NASDAQ are choppy, in other words, without a strong directional play at the open, I do a lot better counter trading it or looking for reversals. But then you get days like this where it takes a lot of drawdown from me. So we'll see. I'm gonna leave a hard stop there. Not messing with that anymore. If it's a lost day, then it's a lost day. We'll call it a day there. But if you're new to the stream and you're liking the content, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe. As usual, you're going to see live trading, good, bad, ugly, tilt, not hiding anything. If it's a lost day, it's a lost day. If it's a green day, it's a green day. Yeah, that bounce is not convincing. Slow. Struggling to get back above 200. Every little pop-up is sold right back down. Needs to push above those moving averages and it's struggling. Unable to position with closes above your 9 and your 20 SMA. Going after 200 again. Let's see if they can push up this time. VWAP's at 240. Pivot point at 220. But still got to push above 200. Carlos Reyes, yeah, man, this is no frills, no gimmicks. You'll see raw trading here. losses, big losses. You'll see some big wins, little losses, draws, tilt, emotional trading, refusing to close, losing trades. I had a pretty bad day like that already. My goal, this is not a channel to flex that I'm a pro trader or I'm some type of trading guru. This is my journey trading NASDAQ, hopefully getting better day by day. I have gotten significant payouts trading prop firms, especially last year. This year has been a little slower, but still 6 figures so far this year in payouts. But my goal is to show the rawness, the good, the bad, the ugly, and do it live. I'm not switching out of the screen, or let's say I do get stopped out here, you'll see the loss. Probably going to be at least 2 grand. If this comes down on me and hits my stop, I'll lose for the day at least, I would think at least 2 grand in the red per account. So that's what this channel is about. If anybody's new to the stream, I'm by no means a pro trader or some type of trading guru. That's not the intention. This is the journey of me trading futures, good, bad, ugly. But I've managed to somehow keep it profitable trading prop firms and getting consistent payouts. We've had, like I said, 2 days in a row, and I've always known that because I'm such a contrarian trader, I do well with 98%, 95 plus, let's call it 95 plus percent of NQ movements, because you rarely get something like this right at the open, where you can look at a level, enter on a long, and play the bounce. Today it was directional and it continued to push, so it cost me. Same thing as yesterday, the vice versa. I was trying to short a long, and when I switched, finally, it was a little too late. But yeah, you'll see the rawness in trading here. Lena, I've been trading futures prop firms since the end of or mid 2023. Before I switched to futures, I was trading options for a couple years. All right, so we're attempting now to push 200. I got a pivot point at 220 that I can't risk taking a pullback on. That's even if we get to 220. The 200 SMA is at 216. So although I have a TP at 230, I'm watching what we do at 220. VWAP has creeped all the way down to about 239, so I'm about 9 or 8 points below VWAP. Go straight to funded. Yeah, I've said it. Last year, 2024, I made between Fast Track Trading and Apex 20 accounts. I made over 200K in payouts. And you see the payouts here on this YouTube channel. Cost me about 25 to 30 grand with activation, straight to funded accounts, having 20 accounts, blowing 20 accounts. But still a solid year. This year has been a little slower. Still in the 6 figures, but I don't think, well, who knows? We still got 5 months left of the year. I don't think I'll beat last year's number this year. For a number of reasons. I don't have the luxury of having 20 accounts with Apex. I've trimmed that down to about 5. Although I'm copy trading other props, it's been up and down. But still profitable, and that's what matters. All right, here we go. We're trying to push to that pivot point, 220, and that's what I'm watching for, potential rejection there. And then I'll have to clip. If we get the push to VWAP, VWAP's at 236. I have an out at 231. Yeah, last year was easy. Apex was very flexible before the Apex 3.0 rules. Fast Track had insanely easy rules. I got a couple payouts on 20 accounts there, so it was just a different ballgame. This year is a little harder, but you adapt and you try to push. All right, so we came to that 220 pivot point, and looks like we're rejecting. I'm going to watch if we're going to continue to pop to VWAP. Otherwise, I got to clip it a little earlier. We're also pretty close to that 50% fib that we talked about earlier. Yep, my TP is right around 50%, which is pushing the extreme of this move. Let's see if we get lucky. Going for a push above pivot point. It's pushing. You got VWAP at 236. I'm at 231 TP. See if we get a nice little pop there. Otherwise, the pivot point may be the rejection area. Pivot point's at 220, 222. See if we get a little bit more juice out of this. Otherwise, I have to clip. But still recovered a good part of that loss if I close at time. Struggling at 220. It's not able to push above that pivot point for a VWAP touch. See what happens at the 9. If it flushes below the 9, then I may have to clip this. See where we stand within this channel right now. Got a little bit of juice, but we're at the extreme of that channel in terms of TP. Holding a 9 for now, but it's struggling to push. If we get a little pop, tempting to touch VWAP up there. Just need a little pop. Come on, pop it, pop it. Watching VWAP very closely up here. We're down to 233. I'm at 231, so I gotta be careful with this moving average creeping up on me. $233 holds for VWAP and the 20 SMA on the 5-minute. Come on, pop it. Pop it. Not making it easy. Pop it. Not making it easy by any means. What did we just hit? We hit 27. $34. I'm watching the 20 SMA on the 5-minute as it creeps down. That'll be probably the final touch to this move up, if we get there. That's at 233. So I'll show it on the 5-minute what I'm talking about. This is what I'm careful about. This touch, and I'm really right below the 20. If the 20 continues to creep down, then I'll have to close. But I'm playing the extreme of that 20 SMA touch on the 5-minute. And clearly it's starting to build a resistance there. That 20, I would assume, would push it down a couple of points for a pullback. Let's see what happens. Let's go back to the 1-minute. All right, so that's two attempts at the pivot point. 2 attempts at the pivot point. Not taking a harsh pullback, but we're starting to see it struggle at 220. And they popped this. Going back to the 5-minute to monitor that 20 SMA, because that 20 SMA is creeping down on me. Can't have okay, so my TP now is above it. I have to drop it a little bit. The suspense. All right, we got it. All right, so that is done, and notice the right after that touch on the 20 SMA, I mean, bulls are in control. They're trying to build a move up, but I think with that touch, you'll see some potential pullback there. I mean, to the T, right? You monitor that 20 SMA. It's going to give you the touch. Everybody talks about moving averages being delayed. In real time, they do play out. Sure, they're delayed. There's no question about it. But all right, so we went from down in the high. What was it? I think we were down like 1,200, 1,300 bucks. Now up 180. That's 3 trades. Let me close this. That's 3 trades. Is it 3 trades or 2 trades? How many trades did I take today? I think that's 2 trades. All right, so let's wait for a pullback. Let's see what the market does. Let's reset. I got to get out of this loop. But we recovered. It was dragged out. No question about it. But at least we recovered. We're up 180 bucks per account. We were down, and that's 2 days in a row that I got to figure out how to avoid that unnecessary drawdown that I get myself into trying to rush into plays. Yeah, this was a trade with some. I mean, honestly, the mistake here was allowing this wide of a stop. That was a lot of drawdown on this one, and then this trade, this entry here, recovered it. Peter Chan, you were down 400 bucks, up 45, brother. You got to look at it vice versa. If you were down 400 and now you're up 45, you just made $445. That's good. For me, I was down. I don't know. You guys were probably watching it more than I was. I was down at least 1,200 bucks, and I'm up 180, so I made $1,400 on this trade. You got to look at the positive. The mistake today was, again, day 2, 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row with a directional play right in front of me and trying to counter trade the trend. Yes, on both days I recovered. If we look at yesterday, we're done with this. I got to reset the mind, so I might as well start chatting about yesterday. Let's go back to yesterday and the mistake yesterday. So today, directional day, tried to counter trade it, paid miserably. Yesterday, it's the opposite, right? You had this huge directional play, shorted here, stopped out. Shorted here again, stopped out. Finally, I'm like, all right, I got to long this. I'm playing the breakout of this pivot point, and this is my long entry. My long entry, I should have closed at this pivot point, got greedy, was looking for 440, never got there, and it came all the way back down and stopped me out. I ended the stream, but as I'm ending the stream, I'm like, well, we just wicked to this level. I'm going to enter on a long, and I entered with about, I think, 2 or 3 contracts there, and captured this, 50, probably 50 points, 60 points. Again, recovered, but unnecessary drawdown at the beginning, having to put myself to recover. 2 days in a row, down over $1,000 in the red on the first trades. Yes, recovery afterwards, but I got to figure out how to limit this drawdown to start with. But as you can see, we played that 20 SMA, and I mean, to the T, right? Had I not exited there, I would have lost the whole play, right? That's why, yes, the moving averages are delayed, but they're very accurate in terms of where price potentially goes, bounces, rejects. We use the 20 SMA to the extreme, trying to recover some of that drawdown and walk out with a little bit of green. So I'm okay with that out. Literally caught the top of that. Let's see where this pullback brings us down. Maybe a retest of this pivot point. I can probably participate in a long down there. But for now, resetting. That's 2 trades and up, but up only because I had to recover. Had I not jumped on this trade, I would have been significantly up on this trade. So we'll see. But good. If you guys are in the green, great job. Feel free to share your entries, your exits. It's not just about me. Especially in the overnight session, we have it where some people are long, some people are short, and some people are fading me, and we're kind of bouncing ideas off each other as we go. So it's not about just hearing the way I see it. Happy to hear how you guys see the moves, what your targets are, and all that good stuff. Again, this is not about me and being a trading pro. This is more about the journey, building a trading community, learning from each other. I got some of you texting me after, hey, you should try this idea. You're making mistakes because of this. That's what it's all about. Learning and growing together here. And if you're new to the stream, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. I do 9:15 a.m. Eastern every single day, Monday through Friday, 9:15 a.m. I'll try to be here for at least an hour or two. And now I'm doing the Asia session, Monday through Thursday, 9:15 p.m. All right, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to see where this pullback takes us, if we respect this channel or potentially a retest of the pivot point down here at that 100 area. And maybe try to hop on another long down here, or accept that we got more downside and call it a day. I'll be right back, guys. All right, gonna take a little break, see what this market wants to do, see if we can find another entry. But we got a nice little trade there. Yeah, Shaw, this little bear flag is playing out. If it breaks this channel, then you got a test of this pivot point with potential further downside. Just going to be a little patient if I'm going to put in another trade. Sometimes you got to realize being up, what am I up, $180 after being down at 1,200 is a good day, and walk out. If this channel continues to hold, then bulls probably are trying to reposition above 300. We'll see. Go straight to pundit. I appreciate you, man. Like I said, you'll see it here live. Losses, bad red, recoveries. The challenge here is, how do I make this trade my first trade, right? So I walk out $1,200 in the green versus trying to recover. And there were mistakes even with this stop. This was a wide stop. That set me down significantly. I mean, it was only 2 trades. keep it strict. If you're gonna try to long a falling knife, 20-point max. It is struggling to push above that pivot point. You see wicking. Look at the 5-minute. Pivot point's at 220, but look at this 5-minute wicking. All right. Boom, 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 boom. We know that my exit was around the 50% fib retracement. So how much more can they push before needing a stronger pullback to maybe the 23 or the 36 level on that fib? Right? Maybe they just tested that 38 level and they bounced. Do they need the test of the 23 before pushing up again? But we played it to right there at the 50%, and at least we were able to recover something. Straight to funded, man. I appreciate the support always. Appreciate the support from everybody. Hey, it's not fun being a drawdown. It's not fun being a drawdown live. The challenge of live streaming, right? You got to perform. But I'm trying to honestly keep that away. I'd honestly prefer showing the losses. Maybe it is a red day. Maybe it is a recovery day. Maybe it is a green day. But not having to worry about the outcome, just trade. The outcome could be a red day. The outcome could be a green day. The outcome could be a tilt day. But I'm working on not worrying about that and just trade. All right, I'm not going to be interested in another trade until we see some type of pullback from this. Whether it's all the way down to that 100 level or the 150. So I'm going to grab an extended coffee break and I will be back, folks. All right, we're back. What do we got? Trying to respect that channel. Like I said, I'm not interested until we get a stronger pullback, or if we're going to continue to push up, see how far we go on this play to potentially short it. But I need a stronger level to play. Good morning to everyone. If you're just tuning in, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe. I live stream every day from Arizona, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Today was a battle day for sure, but currently up. See what the market wants to do. Is it going for a full recovery with a late day rally and trying to get up back to where we were this morning? Or are we in for further downside? That other JC, yeah, I was on last night. I figured you were enjoying a day off or something. All right, so we are approaching now, what, at lunchtime? Let's see if we get a stronger pullback on this. Or if they're going to continue to ride this to the upside, see how far. But that's a couple 5-minute candles wicking up here at this pivot point, the 220. Now we also haven't rejected with force, but let's see. I'm going to go back to the 1 minute. That other JC, brother, nothing to be sorry about. I would want you to be able to enjoy a day or two without trading. Those are the good days. Trading is trading can be stressful. Trading can be take a toll on your mental resources, for lack of better words. It's mental capital being invested in this. So far this channel is holding, right? 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, but the pops on the channel get smaller, right? We had a big pop, smaller pop, and now we're struggling to even pop. So let's see what happens. This is right at the pivot point, that's 220. VWAP is currently pushing this down at 235, so we're below VWAP right here. But let's see what happens. All right, respecting the channel and trying to pump up. If it does play out where it's going to go from the bottom to the top of the channel, you got the 200 SMA, which is this red line at 271. You got VWAP at 235, so a potential push above VWAP, an exaggerated push, and then the flush down. Well, we'll see. We have been in this range now for some time. If you remember yesterday, this reminds me of that 405 level yesterday. 405, we hovered, we tempted with the break. We never broke above 405, and then we have a harsh pullback. See if it's a repeat at 2. So it would need to establish itself above 230 for the break and continuation. But we did this yesterday at 405. This looks very familiar. Let me see if I have 405 from yesterday that we were all... Let's go to the 5 minute. Up here, here we go. This was the... it's better on the 1 minute. Here we go. Look at that 405 from yesterday. Nearly 2 hours waiting for a break, and it just flushed right back down right here. See the hovering above that range, and then boom. Sure, it bounced afterwards, but it dragged. It hinted this breakout for almost the whole 2 hours, right? In this range yesterday. All right, let's see what it wants to do. There we go. All right, there we go. So it reminds me of 405. And then eventually, boom. Peter Chan is going to try a long at 30.75. In other words, the breakout, similar to yesterday, above 405. See if it breaks above this. Today, the 405 for today is 30, yeah, 30.31. The only problem with 30.31 is VWAP, right? You got VWAP at 35, so you potentially go for 4 points and potentially rejection. I would want to see the break above VWAP and a test of VWAP that holds if we're going to long. Otherwise, I'll wait for a stronger pullback. Going anywhere. At least with speed, not going anywhere. Sideways. Wick after wick at the on the 5 minute. Ooh, it's wicky up there. That 230 level is wicky. Careful. Now we're finally getting a 5 minute. Attempting to push with a hold, but look at all these wicks up here. Peter, remind me, I got to chat with you. I know you do the smaller 4 point, 2.5 point scalps. Maybe after today, if you got some time, I'll chat with you on that. Curious to see how you, if you go in with size or just, anyways, we'll talk about it later. All right, we're in this little range. Which way will she go? It's now popping out of this ascending channel that we played on the bounce. So let's extend this channel up a little bit. Definitely breaking out of the buying algo. Those wicks on the 5 minute are hinting some downside, but let's see. We could get stuck in that range for quite some time. That's what happened yesterday. We were in a range like this for almost 2 hours before we saw the flush. Shaw, yeah, it's been slow lately. It's been slow. I've been doing both. Asia, the late Asia session at 9:15 Eastern really doesn't start moving until 11 p.m. Eastern or later. All right, I'll be right back. All right. All right, so potential 220 rejection of that pivot point. And we may have to take a pullback back to test this pivot point down here and then potentially long. Or if this thing really wants further downside today, then got to be very aware of that too. So let's see what happens at this level. Right, this level was resistance that became support on this push up. Right, we flushed down, we pushed up, resistance, push down, resistance, then became support for the push up. So we may have to test. We have two levels for potential test on a pullback. Right, we got this down here. Can it bounce here, or does it need the full test of that pivot point for the bounce? Now, if it doesn't need any further pullback, then this level right here, right, this was resistance. Resistance became support. Support. And we're testing support right now. But it started right here with this initial resistance. So I'm always looking for support resistance levels, even when I enter on these crazy counter trend trades. It's based on a level. Usually these entries are on 1 hour, 4 hour levels. Doesn't mean they're going to hold. Today they didn't. Flushed right through them like butter. It's definitely range bound in that tight 20-point range. All right, 190, call it 200, 30-point range, 200 to 230, up and down, boom, 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 building consolidation. Is it a bear flag? Or is it a bull flag? We'll find out. Now, if it does push out of this 230 area, look at this area that tried to be support. This was my initial long, tried to provide support. That matches with the 200 SMA, so we could see some resistance there if we do push out. Right here. But it's slow down. I'll hang out for a little bit, but I may have to just be aware that that's it. Maybe go back in the afternoon, closer to power hour. And if you're new to the stream, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. I live stream every morning, Monday through Friday, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. And I'm doing the late Asia session now, 9:15 p.m. Eastern as well. Oh boy. Like watching paint dry now in the 30-point range. Indeed. This is the same as yesterday. We were stuck in that range. We were waiting for the 405 break. It ended up pulling back. But yesterday, with that similar range like this was extended almost 3 hours yesterday. It was brutal. Basically NQ's way of saying if you miss the initial move, you're gonna have to wait. And wait it is. Go straight to funded. OL is overnight low and OH is overnight high. But I think I have them backwards, right? Oh no, overnight low. In other words, yesterday, right before the open. Yeah, no, the overnight low is here. So the OL is overnight low and OH is overnight high. Meaning after the New York close and before the New York open. Those are the overnight lows and highs. I tried to long the test of the overnight low and previous day low. PD is previous day. And that was the trade that got me, pushed me down 2 levels before I stopped out. Go straight to funded. No. So this is manual. So in other words, in the morning, what I do, let me hop on to 15-minute. What I do is I go and literally look at prior day, set my prior day high. So literally yesterday is what, 721? This is a bar that I move every day. So I go and say, all right, what was the high of day yesterday? That's my previous day high. Now with Quantower, and I think with most platforms, you do have a way of automatically setting it. I just don't like the bars that Quantower gives for prior day high, prior day low. I like them in white with the letters so that I can see it. So that's why I do it manually. But I think most platforms you can just set that up automatically or add an indicator that says previous day low, previous day high. And then overnight high, this was the high from the overnight session right here. So it's all manual, but most platforms allow it, do it for you automatically. I just don't like Quantower's version. Now that I think about it, I can probably just change the color. So let me do that right now. So yeah, you can do previous day close, previous daily high and low, settlement. Isn't settlement with a C when it's trading? No, that's settlement as far as settling an offer, but I thought in trading, settlement is with a C. So no, I'm wrong. Okay. Anytime, anytime. All right, big slowdown, and we're approaching lunch hour in about half an hour. Probably will get slower. So this one can, this could be it for a while. We're stuck in a 3-hour range yesterday. Red candles, what's up, brother? Well, like I said, I won't be interested until we see a stronger pullback or a stronger push up for potential shorts or longs, depending on direction. All right, this little range here is being extended even further. Up and down for range traders. Trade the range until we get a break. Well, if it's going up, it's taking its dear time. We'll see. Slow down significantly. going nowhere. But if you're new to the stream or just hopped on, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. I live stream from Arizona, 3 hours behind New York Eastern. Every day, Monday through Friday, 9:15 a.m. Eastern, and now the late Asia session, 9:15 p.m. Eastern as well. Oh, we going nowhere. Sideways. Sideways consolidation. Got my last sip of coffee here. That pivot point is it's not giving a strong rejection to the downside. This could be bullish consolidation for further upside. But we got tricked yesterday. Yesterday we hovered for about 3 hours, hinting at the break at 405. Hovered, and then boom, right back down. So until I see a harsher move, whether it's a harsh move to the upside or a harsh move to the downside, I'm staying out. Getting tighter and tighter. Which way will she go? The last 15-minute candle was a doji, right? Yep. And the last 30-minute was about 20 points. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the last 30-minute candle is this range right here, right? We've been here for almost an hour now. All right, let's take a look at CNBC and see if there's any news, because I'm falling asleep here. All right, so Dow Jones up, S&P and NASDAQ still down. Russell is up. All right, looks like a little pop there. Fake out. Grab some bulls there. Peter Chan's going to take that 30.75 long, and he's going for a couple point scalp. Here we go. Will it break or will it trap? VWAP is at 232. 233. Just touched VWAP. Will it continue to push above or get rejected? It's holding. This could be a further push up. Peter got his 2.5 points. Nicely done. You got that little strategy like clockwork. It's good. And VWAP touch with a rejection for now. Coming to test 220, that pivot point. Will the pivot point flip now to support? Hey, you're up, brother. 5 or 6 plays like that, and you got some secure green. All right, so clear rejection at VWAP. Initial rejection. Let's see how far we go. We're testing 9 and the 20. Testing pivot point. Pivot point's at 221. See if they can flip it. Flip the pivot point to support. It's been resistance for now. Let's move up. Can they flip it to support? All right, now they're pushing again. Another touch of VWAP. That was a clean wick to the upside on that pivot point. Pivot point bounced that nicely. See if they can push above VWAP now. Struggling. Testing VWAP. Sorry, pivot point, testing pivot point. And the pivot point flip to support. Slow. Very slow. Pivot point are support and resistance areas. I think most platforms also, it's an indicator called pivot point. I use pivot points quite extensively. Show you what they look like on TradingView. So today's bounce, right, the trade that I got in on the bounce to recovery was based on this pivot point touch, right? I entered a little late, only because I had got burned already trying to long a falling knife. But these blue lines are pivot points, 5, 15, and 30 minute. So 5, 15, and 30 minute. And we're testing this pivot point. That's why we've been consolidating for so long. It's been going back and forth on this pivot point right here. So are we going to be able to push above and continue? Or are we going to take a pullback to test this pivot point again? I mean, who would have thought? But if I had just waited today and just said, all right, you know what? I'm only going to enter or exit on pivot points. That 30-minute pivot point touch was golden. Golden today for the bounce. A lot of nowhere today. Consolidating still. Still range bound. Okay, here we go. Here's the flush. Trapping longs up there, hoping for the continuation on that VWAP. So I just trapped. Let's see if we get a stronger pullback on this. Again, levels. I mean, if it's going to continue to hold this level as the bounce, then I don't know if I want to long that. Potential test of this area, or go all the way back down to test the bottom, the current session low. But I'm not trusting it yet until we get a full pullback. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it is holding that pivot point. It has been unable to, well, it's been unable to flush above the pivot point, sorry, below the pivot point with force, but it also hasn't popped. And we're into 7:30, well, hour consolidation around that pivot point at 220. It's all pivot point consolidation. That's why they're called pivot points. So it's an area of support resistance, reversals, continuation. This is all around that 220 area. What's going to happen there? I think I'm saying 220, but I think it is 225, 223, 225. Close enough. At the end of the day, all of these levels are levels, ranges are not exact numbers. It's not like it's going to touch 225 and immediately reject or pop. These are areas. Pivot point could be showing you 225. It could reverse at 230. It could reverse at 215. It's an area that you're looking at in terms of whatever your bias is. Same thing with 1 hour and 4 hour levels, right? These are levels, not exact numbers. All right, try to push up. Let's see if it's trapping some bulls up here like yesterday, looking for the pivot point break to the upside. Yesterday gave us 2-3 hours of consolidation around 405 and then finally just flushed everybody down. I wouldn't look, no, my 15-minute is 224 on the high side. I think you're okay. Again, this is a level, not an exact number. All right, Shaw, thank you. Trump is talking now, so hands off of trading. That could influence, I believe he's talking with the Philippines today, right? Thank you, Shaw, for updating us that. Yeah, if you guys hear news or anything like that, I'm so busy looking at the charts. You guys probably have quicker access to news. Feel free to let the chat know, let me know. So I appreciate that when you guys come in and update on news. News is critical, man. I've learned the hard way. News moves the market, and if you're in the wrong direction, you're taking losses. All right, so again, very trappy. I wonder if it's going to be a repeat of yesterday, where we were all waiting for that break here, and then, whew. All right, so Trump just made some comments. Let's take a look at the comments. 8:47 a.m. Arizona. Trump on Fed's Powell rate should be 3 points lower, maybe more. So Trump continues to press Powell. Okay, we just got a little update. China's president meeting in China is not too distant future. So I guess there's a meeting with China on tariffs pretty soon. Trump on Fed's Powell, it is affecting housing. And Trump again attacking Powell. Trump is saying Powell has rates high, probably for political reasons. So they're continuing to go back and forth with Powell on that. But still, no direction with this level. And both Trump and the Treasury Secretary attacking Powell. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent on the Fed. They should stay in their lane. Trump on rates, we should be at 1%. Trump on Powell, he keeps rates too high. Trump on Fed, economy is strong. In other words, Trump has been pushing for lowering rates for some time to boost the economy. Powell, his answer to it is inflation. But the last reports question whether inflation is still an issue. So I don't know if Powell at this point is just being stubborn, just doing it out of spite, or if he truly feels that if interest rates are lowered, everything we've done in terms of progress with inflation will go right back. Inflation will go right back up. Because the last report, Trump is right. It's questionable if inflation is an issue anymore. What Powell is saying is, okay, that's the first report. We don't need to knee-jerk reaction and lower rates and then potentially go back to inflation and some of the pricing we've seen with groceries specifically. Go straight to funded. They're going to throw... Yeah, I mean, I saw the report yesterday. Powell he wasn't charged criminally, but there's a word they're using. They're suggesting a criminal probe on that Fed building, the Fed building renovation, right? It's billions of dollars. And now I think yesterday's headline was, we suggest criminal probe, not charges, probe. So that's more pressure. They're obviously pressuring Powell to lower rates. Trump has been saying that for quite some time. Ay. How much is this? 7:30 a.m. It's 9 a.m. Oh man. Yeah, yesterday was the same thing. 3 hour consolidation. Everyday photos 41. Inflation is even higher because 40% of the money supply has been printed in the past 5 years. And that's what Powell is saying. We just had one report suggest that inflation is lowered. It doesn't mean you create a knee-jerk reaction and lower rates. He wants more sustained reports with lowered inflation. Straight to funded. Yeah, I saw the report on that Fed building. Billions of dollars in renovations, man. That's crazy. Crazy. All right, what does this 5 minute? The 5 minute is wiki on both sides. There's a battle going on here. Which side will win? Look at these wicks. Wicks, wicks, wicks. Wicks on the bottom. Which way will she go? Up or down? Only a matter of time. It'll break. Question is, how far will the break be? Up or down? Crypto Rico with his crypto updates. He's saying buy Ethereum. All right, we're going nowhere. I'll give it maybe 20 more minutes. Otherwise, I think I'm going to call it a day. Have some breakfast, touch some grass, and maybe come back for power hour or just walk out in the green after some pretty bad red. Sometimes you just got to walk out and take the little wins. Man, nasty NASDAQ going nowhere. But if you're just hopping onto the stream, do me a favor, help me out with the YouTube algo, smash that like, smash that subscribe. I do live stream every morning, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Do appreciate everybody that's tuned in or has tuned in. I know there's a lot of talented traders out there to watch and all that good stuff. So thank you for tuning in. This is about 1 month now for me live streaming every day. I've added also the late Asia session. So I live stream 9:15 p.m. as well for late Asia. Arizona is hot and dry. We got 100-degree weather out here. Dry, radiant heat like we love. All right, is this going to be the breakdown of this range that we've been in for 2 hours now? Very similar to yesterday, hovering over a breakout, tempting the breakout, and then a flush. We'll see. I keep extending this range. Crazy. How far are we going to go with this? A lot of nowhere, a lot of sideways consolidation. Like I said, I'll give it another 15 minutes, otherwise I'll call it a day. Have some breakfast, get some fresh air, touch some grass, and maybe come back for power hour. Otherwise, anybody that trades the late Asia, I'll be on tonight, 9:15 p.m. Eastern as well. All right, looks like it's starting to build momentum to the downside. Let's see if we break out of that range. This is a repeat of yesterday. We break out, classic tempting the breakout up here, trapping, and then boom. Quick movements to the downside. This is now quick. This is starting to build some selling pressure here. Is it going to stay in the range, or are we finally breaking out? Well, if you're enjoying the content, help me out with the YouTube algo. Smash that like, smash that subscribe. More importantly, hit that notification bell so you get notified when I post content. 9:15 a.m. Monday through Friday every day. Win, lose, or draw. Good trades, bad trades. Nothing's hidden here. And Monday through Thursday, 9:15 p.m. for the late Asia session as well. After hours. So far, it looks like just range bound. Getting a pop here. Let's see if it bounces right back up or we get the flush. All right, here she goes. Breaking down, here it goes. And range bound, right back in. Right back in. All right, looks like it's now. If it trapped some bears now, was that the liquidity sweep and now you get the bounce? Peter Chan is up 190. There you go. Slowly but surely. Yeah, it's playing the range. It's trapping up here. It trapped twice. Just trapped down here if you were FOMOing in. With range-bound trading, you got to short highs and long bottoms. You got to have the cojones to do that. Otherwise, stay out. If you're going to try to capture a break just because you see a candle, it'll trap you. Trapped here twice. Trapped here. I mean, it's been hinting at this breakout for some time. It's hinted now 3 times here on the downside as well. Range-bound trading, you trade it inverse, right? You short tops and you long bottoms if you're going to trade a range. This is only a 30-point range. I'd stay away. If it's a bigger range, your probabilities are better. And we've seen 80-point ranges played throughout the day, and those are nice. Those you can take a long down here and just go for 20, 30 points. This is just a little too tight. I'd rather wait for the breakout in either direction. But yeah, range trading is a little different. It's shorting tops, longing bottoms. Chris, as much as I'd like to say that, the problem is with prop firm trading, my positions are not in the real market, so it's not. It's just everybody has certain levels, pivot points, VWAP, moving averages. Market makers know that. So what are they going to do? They're going to flush you below a level that a lot of people are playing. So if you're playing, let's say, I don't know, VWAP at 400 and you're playing a bounce, well, market makers see the same thing. They're like, all right, a couple people are going to enter here at 400. Let's flush them out. Their stops are at 380, 370. Let's go to 370 and then give the bounce. So that's the challenge is how do you enter a position or a level and take the drawdown on sweeps, on stop hunt runs. And stop hunt runs are what's going to create the move in the opposite direction. That's part of trading. That's why, especially with NQ, you got to give yourself drawdown. You got to be able to handle a liquidity sweep. Otherwise, you're just going to get stopped out over and over and over again. It's not because your levels aren't accurate. You may have the right idea. The problem is, the only way to truly get momentum in the opposite direction is with a sweep. Similar to what we just saw here, right? We swept these entries and then popped them. That other JC, if you're on a live account, I'd say yes. But if you're on a prop firm account, how would the market even care for simulated positions? That's the only, I guess, question I would have is, as prop firm traders, your positions are never in the market. There's no reason a live market would want to hunt those positions. I just think, in general, whether you're a prop firm trader or a live trader, you're using the same levels and same ideas that everybody else uses. Market makers know these ideas, right? VWAP bounces, pivot point bounces, certain levels. So they're just going to flush those levels, exaggerate those levels to test your drawdown, to shake you out. Yeah, that was a classic trap. Anybody FOMOing in on the break of this range, targeting this, bye-bye. Thanks for your liquidity. We appreciate you. All right, guys, I'm going to give this 10 more minutes. Much as I want to put another trade in, I got to be out of this range, and it looks like it's going to go for another hour or so. The range continues. Well, if you're just hopping onto the stream, do me a favor, help me out with the YouTube algo. Smash that like, smash that subscribe button. I'll be back tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 9:15 a.m. Eastern, win, lose, or draw. Just like every day, you guys see my entries. Good decisions, bad decisions, drawdown, recoveries, easy days, tough days. Everything's done live. I'll be back tonight. I'm also doing the Asia or the late Asia session, 9:15 p.m. Eastern as well, for anybody who trades the overnight session. Fortunately today we got 3-hour consolidation. We're going into 3 hours consolidation. I think I'm going to call it a day. Had some pretty bad drawdown starting and recovered. I think, what am I up? $180, but that's after being down 1,200 or more. You guys were probably watching that P&L. I didn't see how far down I was, but I think it was as low as 1,300 in the red per account. So now we're up 180. Sometimes you got to take these recoveries and call it a day, especially if you're in this type of range. Not interested. Too tight. Chris, advanced volume indicators like cumulative volume data or cumulative relative volume help a lot with detecting the traps, but nothing is perfect. Yeah. That's why they're all called indicators. They indicate something. Sometimes you want to use 2 or 3 indicators to confirm a level or to confirm an area, not use just one. But the key word is it's an indicator. It means nothing. If you have a couple of indicators matching that area, then your probabilities increase in terms of the direction of your trade. That's why you want to get areas of confluence, right? Multiple indicators converging or in the same area. That's an area of confluence with a good reversal, either long, short, whatever your bias is. But at the end of the day, they're all indicators. Nothing's perfect. Man, the range continues. I need some breakfast. I'm literally losing all my energy. All right, there is a little channel here. See what happens down here if we test this and then the bounce, or if we break out of this descending channel here that we got going on. Yeah, Peter, same here. This is a 3-hour mark. We've been in consolidation now for 2 hours. I gotta get some breakfast. I gotta get some fresh air, touch some grass, maybe call it. Either way, I'll be back tonight, 9:15 p.m. for anybody who trades the late Asia session, or I'll see you guys tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Today, walking out with a little green. It's recovery green, but I'll take it. Thank you for tuning in. Do me a favor, if you haven't done so yet, smash that like, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get notified when I post content, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who's participated in the chat, with your calls, with your news updates. I encourage that. It's not just about me talking about my entries or my plan. Feel free to share your entries, even if you're fading me. During the overnight session, we have a lot more people, and it gets really interesting because you have people shorting, you have longs, and everybody's kind of sharing their ideas why they're long, why they're short. So feel free to share your thesis. I will see you all later tonight or tomorrow if you trade New York. Thank you for tuning in. Try to keep it green. Laters.